Okay, so today we're going to be working on creating grids for self-portraits. So first you'll need to decide on a picture and then open up a Google Doc, and then you'll go ahead and paste it in there. And then we're going to crop it down so it's zoomed in on the facial features. I know mine has the glasses covering the eyes, but you want to make sure that your mouth, nose, and eyes are showing in your picture. So once you have it zoomed in, you'll want to make it bigger to fit the page. And then you can go ahead and share it with me. So up in the top right corner, it might prompt you to name your piece if you haven't already. And then just type in E Bandos, and then you should see me and send it to me. So once it gets printed out, then we're going to create a grid on top of it. So you'll measure out each side with 1/2 inches. And then you'll want to go ahead and do that along the side of it as well, and start at the same point that you started with at the top to make sure that they're even, and then go ahead and do it on the other side and bottom as well. Once you have them all done, then you'll line up the points and connect them together to create the lines. When you're all done, you should have 1/2 inch marks, and then along the top you should add numbers, and on the side add letters, and then duplicate the measurements to find your big paper grid measurements. The big paper, to make a margin, you'll measure out 1 inch from both sides so we know how big the margin or border should be. And then you'll go along the side and make 2 more marks that are 1 inch away from the edge of the page. And then do that on the top as well. You can go ahead and connect those lines using the ruler. And you want it to go as long as your measurements. So mine is 18 by 13, and then you want to add 1 more inch to it because there will be a bottom border as well. And then you'll do that same thing on the top. So mine was 13, so I made it 14 on the one side and 19 on the other side. Then again, you want to measure out, so we want to find that far corner. You'll measure out as big as yours is, and then when you move it down to the other inch, you make it 1 inch longer. So when I measured it on 13, I made it 18. When I measured it on the 14, then I had to make it 19, which was a little longer than the ruler, so I had to scoot it down. And then once you have those points where the end of the picture and the end of the margin or border will be, then you'll line those up. So I went across and made the border 19 by 14, and the picture is 18 by 13. Then once you have that, you want to measure at every inch instead of 1/2 inch. You'll go around just like we did with the picture. You want to make the lines go across again so that now we have 1 inch border. Then again, you'll label the top with numbers and the side with letters. This is how your grid should look. Then once you have that, then if you want to add an outline, you can go ahead and add that. If you haven't really drawn portraits before, then maybe just go square by square and think of them all as shading. So then you want to get out materials, so paper towel, Q-tips, blending stumps for blending, some erasers, and the shading pencils. So 2H is the lightest pencil, HB is like a medium, and 6B and other Bs are the darkest pencils. So then we'll go ahead and start with shading. Whether you have an outline or not, you'll go ahead and shade each square so they look exactly like the square in the picture. So if you see my top square to the left, it's all gray and there's no dark shades. It's a pretty even gray as well. A couple lines that are a bit darker, so I replicated that in my square as well. So I did the light gray with a 2H pencil because it was a lighter shade, and then I went in with an HB to add those darker lines in, and then I blended it all together. And then I took a 6B pencil because the part of my hair is part of the darkest shades in the picture, so I wanted to use the darker pencil for it. And it's okay if you have to redo it. I felt like my line was just a little bit off. So then I went and kept looking at the picture to try to get the outline looking the same, and then blended it together. So at the end of class that you work on shading, you'll want to have about 2 or 3 rows completed. And then the next day we'll have 2 or 3 more rows. I'm so excited to see what you create.